Nah, that was great. All right, boys. Welcome to day 25 of the No Cut One Take Challenge. Getting down to the end, nitty gritty. Today is Saturday. Finally, an easy, restful day. So that's why I'm pretty energized right now. I had not too much going on today. I ran a couple errands, got my workouts in, but I started the day off with my men's Bible study. So that's something I kind of wanted to go in today. It's nice to start my weekends off on a good note, getting some wisdom from some older uncles in the group, and also some nice laughs and good times. They make it really like family oriented. Like I feel like the little brother in it all. But today we're reading a passage from Proverbs 27. And I wanted to touch on that because the entire chapter is amazing, filled with absolute gems. Like, so on my, you can't see it again. I tried doing this yesterday. Oh yeah, you can see it like this now. So you could like highlight, and like almost every line is highlighted in this chapter. So it's just freaking gold in this. But I wanted to highlight and talk about one specific line that was really, I guess, thought-provoking. So it should take up some time to speak on about. But it's Proverbs 27, verse 12, and I'm reading in the New Living Translation, if anybody wants to follow along. But verse 12, chapter 27, is a prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. So it's very simple. Proverbs in itself is very simple. It's very simple, like wisdom teaching, although the simplicity almost makes it like too easy, if that makes sense. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. So the reason why I like this, right, is because oftentimes I feel like we as human beings often go against ourselves. And I think I was talking about this last night. But essentially, like, I know you could probably think of situations where, you're going down a certain path, and even very, I guess, specific situations where it's probably not the best for you to continue going down that path or to continue to indulge in whatever that is. Although you still do it and you still come back to it. And so the prudent person foresees it and takes precautions. So in order to be that prudent person, in my understanding, is you have to first know what you're doing is going to lead to something bad. And even if that thing that's bad feels good, you should still at least understand that it isn't necessarily good for you. It doesn't benefit you in the long run. And I think that takes a lot of self-discipline. I think that takes maturity and, like growing up. I feel like you first have to be able to experience it and go through that time where you're indulging before you understand that it's bad. So it's like up to a certain point that you kind of get the pass. But after, figuring out that's bad and continue to go into it, like that's when like it's your fault. Like that's on you. And so the simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. I think so. I'll kind of get vulnerable here and kind of open up about how I initially kind of implemented this into my life. So when I first came to the faith, I obviously found out about all of what sin entails and how God sees sin and how He hates it, and He expects us to eventually come to Him and hate it just as much as we learn about how much it affects us, not only us but the people around us, and on many levels, like even further down from the surface level. And what would, like, when I think about it, like, my main goals in life are to have a family, be a great father, be successful, and I guess that be successful is can branch off into like many other things, but that's like a general umbrella of what I expect out of myself, out of my life, right? So if those are my overarching expectations for myself, anything that puts any of those in jeopardy should be eradicated, right? And the sooner I get to eradicating them, the faster I'll be able to, I guess get the fruit of that discipline that I'll eventually, kind of get down to a T, and it'll get easier to flee from whatever is trying to it'll be easier for me to flee from whatever is trying to keep me from successfully. Why am I not thinking of words right now? My fault, boys. But whatever's trying to keep me from basically achieving everything I want. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. I think it's because I'm thinking of so much right now as I'm trying to say it that I'm like not staying on track. But yeah, anyways. So for like instance, if I want a good family and I want to be a good father, then I first have to be a good partner, right? That's not going to count as one take. My memory card got full, so I had to restart. But yeah, so anyways, in order to be a good partner, I have to be able to find the right person, right? To find the right person, I can't be hanging around or going after the woman I was before coming to Christ, right? Because even in this chapter, it's funny that I say that, it warns against that. So a quarrelsome wife is as annoying as constant dripping on a rainy day. Stopping her complaints is like trying to stop the wind or trying to hold something with greased hands. So a quarrelsome wife, I can't get a quarrelsome wife. That means I have to, minimize the kind of woman that I feel I should go after, which is like a godly woman or a woman who has her things intact, like not just like more than just what is the beauty on the outside. Like there has to be more within, right? And so I can't go and chase those. But yeah, so that's how you get the right one. But in order to get the right one, you first have to be the right kind of person who can actually handle that woman and attract that woman to you. And because women obviously can see through the person, and as you're dating, that person will eventually come out that you're supposed to be. So this is kind of how I see this verse. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. Like, all of this list of things that are kind of prerequisites to getting that good family or being that good father, those are all the precautions that I have to kind of see, and I have to plan out, and I have to kind of put into perspective before I actually go out and get that stuff, or not stuff, but achieve those things. Like, I have to make a plan, and I have to be diligent about it and intentional about it. And the simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. So the simpleton doesn't think of all this stuff. He just thinks, I need a bad girl, bad whatever you want to say. She has to respect me. She has to submit to me. She does everything, but I'm just going to be the bread maker or whatever like that. And she'll have to do all this. And that's why those kind of relationships don't work out. And the simpleton suffers the consequences because he didn't think of all this stuff and actually live it out. Like, he just maybe thought about it from time to time or heard somebody say it to him, but didn't actually be intentional about the plan and everything, the preparation that goes before it. So the prudent person does that. And yeah, I hope I made my point in all this. Proverbs 27 is just an amazing chapter. The one I actually pointed out, because in the men's study we talk about like the verse that we like the most. The one I actually pointed out was verse 21. Fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but a person is tested by being praised. And I like that one because it's true. Like, usually, like, you would think a person is tested by the way that they're like insulted, because they'll either like fire back with more insults and fire with fire, or they will just take it and be humble about it and kind of just take it to the chin. But this is saying they're tested by how they're being praised, and it just opens up a whole new level of thinking and perspective on it, because it's like, yeah, go out and try to praise somebody, and if they're all braggadocious and they're all kind of like, yeah, like that's who I am, like whatever, then you'll see like what's really underneath, like the person they're portraying. On the flip side, if they're like humble about it and they kind of like accept it and say, like thank you or whatever, but are like you could tell that they don't really, want to be in the spotlight, then you know that they're humble underneath it all. And maybe I could talk about this more in depth tomorrow. Maybe I'll do more studies like this. I kind of like this more than just talking about, random stuff that comes in my mind, because this creates conversation, and maybe I see a verse one way and you see it a different way, but either way, boys, I appreciate y'all. Sorry that it cut in the middle. It's gonna be as seamless as possible for you guys, because I'll edit it that way, but either way, I appreciate y'all, boys.